and it's cold today. We're out here in downtown, out here enjoying some POV time in the slush and the snow. Dehancer was graciously enough to reach out to me, asked me for my input, my 2 cents, my opinion on their film plugin for their photography on Lightroom Classic. I said, why not? But instead of just going through the library and just spitting out pictures I already took, I figured we'd take some pictures now together. H73 24-70. I also got my 135 in my bag for those up close. The sun is trying to peek out, which is good. And let's go. I'm with my man Tony, the cameraman.
Oh shit.
Hey, look at that raw. And today I'm with my man Tony behind the camera, awesome creator. His information is gonna be down in the description as well. And yeah, so let's go take some pictures. Let's see what I can get. Let's start off with the obvious. I am not a film photographer. I don't own a film camera, never shot film, never developed film, never scanned film. I want to, but I never actually done it. With that being said, this Dehancer plugin has some really dope film stocks to mess with. To be able to apply them to your image and to have that film-esque about it, I really like that. And it gives me a chance to mess with a whole bunch of film stocks that I never even knew existed, or any ISO ranges of these particular film stocks or anything like that. So it's really cool to be able to experiment with them and see which ones I'm more drawn to than others. The majority of my work is street, and with the film look on the street images, they look really dope. It gives it that authentic vibe, that old school vibe, that nostalgic, that's the word, that nostalgic vibe that you just can't get with a digital camera. Alright, so that wraps up the photo walk. Me and my man Tony took some amazing pictures. I hope you enjoy them. But now it's time to head back and give you my review of the Dehancer film emulation for photography. Alright, so let's run through a quick edit and show you how I do it. In this image here, I usually just start out with auto to get an idea of what Lightroom perceives as a good initial adjustment. Then from this point, right click, edit in, Dehancer, open it up. Now once it's in Dehancer, let's make this big. Once it's here, I choose from the film stocks here. I go all the way up, and I just pretty much just start here and then work my way down and see which one really fits the vibe of what I'm trying to get out of the image itself. The good thing is that you can also go back here and see original versus the film stock on there. I like that feature a lot. And then you scroll down some more until you find one that suits the image. I think I like this one right here, the Fujifilm Velvia 100. Probably butchering the name, but it's close enough, right? So these drop downs here give you access to change all the basic stuff, you know, exposure, contrast, so on and so forth. I'm just not a fan of how many options are within each option, if that makes any sense. I like it basic, you know, highlight, shadows, black, white, and then you know, just simple adjustments that I'm used to in Lightroom, you know, the tone curves, all that stuff, you know. So I pretty much just leave everything alone, and I just go to halation and bloom. And then this is where I make the big adjustments that I like, that give it the look that I'm trying to achieve. Again, there's not a whole lot of bloom because, you know, you're inside. No, sorry, there's not a whole lot of halation because the lighting wasn't the greatest, but you can exaggerate it as you can see or bring it down a little bit. I think like right there. See, if there was a slider instead of this drop down value, like, you know, just a slider, and be able to punch in whatever value or slide this as opposed to just a drop down, that would make it a lot easier. And then if you want, I don't really do it too much, but you can add some film damage, you know, just to give it more of a, oh look, it's damaged, you know. That's not my type of vibe, but it's there if you want it, you know. It's there if you want. Look at that, see? You can add that. Me personally, I don't mess with it. Overscan, again, it gives it a cool effect. You know, adds this cool little trim around each of the images, the borders, excuse me, trim. Again, if I'm just playing around, you know, I'll use it, but I don't really mess with it too much, so I turn it off. And then the vignetting, I don't see it. It just darkens the whole image. Even if I tried to adjust it or change the feathering, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of how they did the vignetting. It just darkens the whole image. You know, again, that's where Lightroom is a little bit better for even the basics. But again, not knocking Dehancer, but just the way the editing can go a lot smoother on Lightroom. You know, I just choose Lightroom. But again, focus on what this is for. Filmic presets, filmic aesthetics. It's not the spot where you start and end your edits. Again, I just use it as like a preset. So once I choose the preset, mess with the halation and the bloom, you hit OK, and it will, excuse the mess there, but it will open up the image back in Lightroom as a TIFF file. So here's the original, see, raw, and this is the TIFF file. And then again, I will come in here if I want to make any adjustments, you know, probably make it a little bit brighter, you know, cool the image down a little bit, and maybe, yeah, there we go. I like that faded, washed out look a little bit. Drop the clarity a little bit, and then of course scroll down. Oh, alright, cool, good to know. There we go. Vignetting. See here, I like the vignetting here because, well, it vignettes. So yeah, so once I'm happy with that, I would export that and upload it or print it, you know. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an insight of how Dehancer actually works, you know, from image to image. Now, what would be nice is if this was a preset on Lightroom, you could just, you know, copy, save what you did to this image, and use it for another image. But if I wanted to use this exact one, I would have to go back to Dehancer, save my adjustments as a preset on Dehancer, take the raw image out of Lightroom, open it in Dehancer, apply the preset that I saved, bring it back to Lightroom. You see what I'm saying? So it's like extra steps. Whereas if it was a preset pack, way easier. So, all right, that's just a quick rundown of how it's used. I got some notes here, so make sure I got all my stuff. All right, Dehancer. It's a fun app. Oh, sorry, fun plugin. It does have a few quirks though. So let me go through what I think is a pro and a con. You know, first thing, workflow. I'm used to Lightroom and where all the adjustments are, and all the scales that Lightroom uses. So Dehancer, where they place things is kind of weird. I'm gonna show you examples of what I mean. It's just not a smooth adjustment workflow. I choose Lightroom over Dehancer, but I have to remember Dehancer is not Lightroom. It's not. So how they adjust certain values are not the same. But I'm just so used to Lightroom that it's just hard to go back and forth, especially when you're like in the zone and you're trying to like bang out pictures and just edit them, and then you gotta be, oh wait, I gotta go here to change this value, I gotta go there to change this value. So it kind of slows me down. I prefer the workflow of Lightroom over Dehancer. Another thing, you cannot batch your edits on Dehancer. Now you can save your preset or your adjustment that you made to one picture. You can save it and use it on another picture. Problem is, you gotta go in one picture at a time. So yes, you can save your preset on Dehancer, but with the ability of only being able to open up one picture at a time, kind of slows you down a bit, right? But it's not the end of the world. You just have to go in image by image and adjust them accordingly. Sliders. I really wish that the halation and the bloom option on Dehancer had sliders and not like a drop down value where you have to choose each one and then see what impact it has on your image. I'd rather it just have a slider just like all the other values so that you can increase and decrease the amount of halation and bloom. Because honestly, those are my two favorite adjustments in Dehancer. I would get Dehancer just for halation and bloom. They just add so much to the actual image. So if you can just switch that to a slider as opposed to just a value on a drop down, be perfect. And lastly, I think Dehancer would benefit if it was a preset pack rather than a plugin. The ability for a preset, especially on Lightroom, the ability for a preset to just be on the side and just choose each individual right there as opposed to trying to go to a separate plugin and see how each of them look on your image. I'd rather it just be right there, be able to just, pick and choose and just see how each of them look right then and there, and then be able to batch it right there too. That's one thing that Lightroom has over Dehancer is that you can batch, you can do everything that you can do on Lightroom. This isn't about Lightroom, this is about Dehancer, but my experience is on Lightroom, so I'm gonna be talking about Lightroom a lot. So if it was a preset pack rather than a plugin, I think the flow would be better. The fact that you can use the sliders on Lightroom over Dehancer, the ability to just have a more consistent workflow, speed things up a little bit. Now, that's not to say Dehancer is bad. Dehancer makes you slow down and go through the process slower and enjoy each image that you're trying to achieve by using Dehancer. So I would recommend Dehancer to anyone who wants to experiment with the filmic vibe of different film stocks that you can try on Dehancer without having to go out and buy a film camera, film stocks, develop them. I like that, that I can just try them all out. Would I use it every day? No. But if there's a certain image that I want to give that vintage nostalgic vibe to, I'll definitely will use it. So I hope this helps. There is a promo code down below, 10% off Streets. If you want to give Dehancer a try. Shout out to Dehancer for allowing me to use their product, give you my input on the product itself. So if you have any other questions, comments, subscribe, like anything, I'm here. Peace.